In this presentation, we're taking a look at what we call crowd centres. We created crowd centres for different types of crowd. A crowd could be a subject. It's people who are interested in weddings or house and home. A crowd could be based on the profile of the group of people, for females, for Christians, for an ethnic group, and so on. And a crowd could be based on a locality. That's what we're taking a look at now. So from our main crowd centre page, we'll select the North East regions, and our test area is the Sunderland. So this is the Sunderland Crowd Centre. The best way to think of this is in the old days, long before everybody was separated and villages and towns were smaller, we would all meet together in the village centre or the town centre. If you wanted to buy, that's where you bought. If you wanted to sell, that's where you sold. If you wanted to entertain, that's where you entertained. If you wanted to be entertained, that's where you went. Everything was in that one place. What Crowd Centres is doing is bringing us back to that place. We're calling them civilised cyberspace communities. Crowd centres are built by the crowd for the crowd. So the Sunderland Crowd Centre is built by the Sunderland crowd, and it's built for the benefit of the Sunderland crowd. So keep that picture in mind, this big virtual town centre. Then in there we've got a section for local news. I can get the latest front page news. So from here on this one page, this one area, I can get the latest news headlines from the local newspaper. I can get it from BBC, Tyne and Weir. I can get the latest weather news, transport and travel, and a whole lot more content. We also have jobs pages. What we're doing here is bringing in the content from a company called Reed, who themselves search several lots of different job vacancy sites. So we can summarize it all together. So for example, I can look for health and medicine jobs within 10 miles of Sunderland. And all the content appears here. We could have local content, for example, to do with videos. In this particular page, what we're doing is people are creating YouTube playlists for particular subjects. So Sunderland community sites. So I select it, there's the playlist, and there's a list of all the videos. So a member of the crowd has created this YouTube playlist. We have things like Lives Online, which are 8 local students from Sunderland University who maintain a blog. So there's interest storylines like that. So you can imagine that could be young people, it could be senior citizens, and so on. We'll be creating support pages. If I look at this debt management section, so the idea is we all need support at some time or other. Sometimes it can be a problem finding it, but we're going to create all these pages in advance, the crowd working together. So here's some interesting pages to do with debt management, and we'll be adding to them as the crowd contribute more content. The crowd also win because they can be recognized as the provider of that content. So it's a way of boosting their profiles, costing them nothing but a bit of their time. One of the other ways, we have a section for our football fans. So it'll be Sunderland in the Sunderland Centre, Newcastle in their centre, Hartlepool and so on. But if I go and look at the Sunderland football page, this is where you get a real understanding of how we're able to import all the content into one place. Virgin Money once wrote an article that said the average football fan spends about 18 hours a week watching his team, one way or another. The majority of that is on the internet. They're having to go search for the content to keep it up to date. What we're doing in the Crowd Centre is bringing it all to one page. So for a typical football fan, I can go to this page, I can get the latest Facebook entries from Sunderland Football Club. I can get the latest tweets. I can get the latest Instagram photographs, YouTube videos, blog entries, and so on. So without having to belong to Twitter or belong to YouTube, I can bring all the content in. I can also get content from the local newspapers, Northern Echo, Shields Gazette. I can get content from national news sources. Google does a search over multiple publication platforms, so they're actually bringing in the content from lots of different resources. I can get the latest news from BBC for Sunderland, Sky Sports, and so on. I can even get the latest content from the fans forums and the fans blogs. So you see, one of the things that we're achieving with the crowd centres is bringing all that content into one place. Again, it's this idea of a virtual town centre where you go to a particular part and that will deal with Sunderland Football Club. The other area which is most important to us as well is the message board area and the marketplace area. If we go to the message board area, a typical business or organisation in Sunderland struggles to get their messages out to the people. Do they use Facebook? Do they use Twitter? What do they use? Search engine optimization and so on. Well, again, by using this idea of a virtual town centre, we are creating message board areas. So it'll be a message board area for jobs, a message board area for different parts of marketplaces, for restaurants, for shoes and so on, and occasions. So the idea behind all of these, let's go through them all. If I look at marketplaces, then there would be an area set aside for, say, restaurants or education. All the members of the local business community and local organisations can join what we call a CAN. A CAN is a communications and advertising network. So there would be a Sunderland CAN, a Newcastle CAN, a Hartlepool CAN, and so on. Each of these networks is dedicated to helping their members reach more customers, more often, more ways, more effectively, and do it for far less cost. So unlike other social media, like Twitter, like Facebook, we're not going to the highest bidder. It's not all about monetizing the fact that we have the crowd base. We are all working together. We really are reducing the costs for everyone. That way all the small businesses, all the local organisations can communicate effectively. If we look at it on one of the other boards, this could be something like special offers. So again, picture this. It's a virtual area. Within this virtual crowd centre, we might have a message board which is for economy of scale offers. What do I mean by that? It could be something like a restaurant saying, if we can get 50 people interested in a curry night, we'll do it for a tenner. If we can get 60 people, we'll do it for £9, and so on. So it's lots of ways that people can interact. We all know we can go to that particular place, the economy of scale or the last minute offers and so on. And we'll be able to continually add other codes. It really is just a case of we set up a code and that virtual message board then exists. And we all know about it, so if I want to find out the offers, that's where I go. If I've got an offer to put in, that's where I put it. And it's all part of this network cost. We could have them based on profile. So now we've got a message board for singles or senior citizens or families or couples. So now any local business or organisation can directly put their messages into that board and people will see it. There's other classifications like occasions. So this could be the classic ones, the annual ones, Christmas, Valentine's Day, but it could be those that's not the same day every year, silver weddings and so on. So the idea is there's a board for you to go to. It's easy to find and it's easy for local business and organisations to put their content on. So this will be a great way for local churches to be able to interact far more effectively with the local community. The second thing we really like about our crowd centres are these marketplace areas. So again, these are just test areas at the moment. We haven't gone live with this. So again, picture within this virtual crowd centre we have a section set aside for restaurants, a section set aside for local churches, a section set aside for shoe shops and so on. When we go to those sections, what we have is the ability for each of the members of that communication and advertising network to put a brief description about themselves. So people can quickly, as they're looking around that particular area, that marketplace area, they can find out a bit of information about them. Then we have what's called a window. If I was in a real physical restaurants area, I would probably look at each of the windows to see what their special offers are, etc. But we're allowing all the local members to use a whole range of tools. It could be Facebook, it could be Twitter, it could be a YouTube account, it could be an Instagram account, a Flickr account, etc. to use that as their shopping window. So that's what they would use. So local churches could put notices in that would maybe attract people to come in. Then the next feature is the more option. And what we're doing here now is taking all the social media that a particular company or organisation has and put it all on one page. bit like we did with the Sunderland football page. So I can get the latest Facebook content for this particular company. I can get the latest tweets, videos, Instagram pictures, Flickr pictures. I can play an individual YouTube video as an introduction. I can even get a map of exactly where they are. So this is something nobody else appears to be doing at the moment. We're creating these local crowd centers, which is like this big virtual center, and I hope you're able to see now the potential of this. Remember, we also call them civilized cyberspace communities. We vet everybody who goes in. We are protecting the public. We're helping local businesses and local organizations thrive because we're keeping the costs of advertising down. It means if the local businesses thrive, the local organizations thrive, then there'll be more jobs, better paid jobs. It really is a win-win situation for everyone. So our crowd centers are about transforming local communities.